The dust from the battle against Cell Max had barely settled, and Earth was finally catching its breath, though an unsettling sense of vulnerability still loomed like a stubborn shadow. Gohan's beast form had been crucial in securing victory, but even Bulma, who was more than used to living among gods and geniuses, knew that relying on emotionally unpredictable Saiyans just wasn't a sustainable strategy anymore. With Goku and Vegeta off in the middle of some never-ending training arc on Lord Beerus' planet, and Gohan now chasing his own limits there too, Earth was left completely undefended. And this time, it wasn't a calculated attack or the grand plan of some galactic villain, it was just Whis accidentally misplacing his staff for a few minutes. That alone was enough to nearly blow everything to pieces. Many the still smoldering ruins, Bulma made a choice. If the warriors were unavailable, then Tak would have to take the lead, not as a plan B, as the new plan A, a defense system based on intelligence and precision, not brute strength and luck. And for that, she turned to one of the only minds fast enough to keep up with hers, the brilliant, eccentric Dr. Hedo. In deep inside Capsule Corp, a brand new experimental lab buzzed with code, prototypes and the occasional explosion. On one side, Bulma, ever pragmatic and perpetually impatient, was locked onto floating holograms, with the same energy she used to solve world-ending problems before her morning coffee. On the other side, the young prodigy Hedo, grandson of the notorious Dr. Gero, bounced from idea to idea like a kid in a futuristic toy store. A few weeks into the project, Hedo came sprinting in, lit up with excitement, claiming he had finally completed the latest simulation. Bulma didn't even blink, she just sighed, eyes still locked on the hovering code, and muttered something about hoping it wasn't another existential vacuum cleaner. Her expression had all the warmth of someone who'd already lost their patience before breakfast. Hedo offered a nervous smile, clearly trying to downplay the recent string of embarrassing failures. He insisted it had only been a minor creative detour, and this time he was serious. He'd managed to integrate a cutting-edge quantum computer with a modular self-learning algorithm. Bulma crossed her arms, unimpressed, and shot back that it all sounded great, just as long as this latest stroke of genius didn't end in another accidental blast that took out half the building. The brain behind their new creation was something so complex. Even Shenron would probably scratch his head trying to understand it. A quantum computer! Unlike normal computers that work in strict yes or no logic, these little beasts could think of everything at once. Imagine a bunch of coins spinning mid-air, where each one can be heads, tails, or both at the same time. That's the magic of quantum entanglement, or as Hedo liked to call it, nerd sorcery. The result was a machine so fast at calculating possibilities that even the strongest supercomputers would look like flip phones trying to run Dragon Ball FighterZ. According to Hedo, the core could anticipate every move of an enemy before the threat itself even decided to attack, instantly generating thousands of strategies in real time like a multiversal chess grandmaster high on energy drinks. Hedo explained, practically glowing with excitement, that the android's intelligence worked like a fortune teller powered by raw data. If an attack took just 1 millisecond to hit, she'd already have analyzed 1,000 possible outcomes, tossed out the useless ones, and picked the best move, all before anyone even blinked. It was more precise than Ultra Instinct, just without the glowing hair and fancy poses. Bulma, arms crossed and already 10 steps ahead, listened with the look of someone who'd seen a few too many tech miracles fall flat. Her only remark, that if the android didn't freeze trying to solve a Sudoku, it was already a win. What they were building had nothing in common with those dumb old machines that just followed orders. This was something entirely new, a self-aware artificial mind capable of learning on its own, growing over time and adapting to any scenario as if it had instincts. To make it happen, Bulma and Hedo developed what they called an adaptive organic neural network basically. A synthetic brain modeled after the human one, built with bioengineered materials and electric pulses, guided by algorithms that could rewrite themselves as needed. Hedo loved to say it was like raising a child prodigy, who never forgot anything, learned faster than any living being, and never needed to sleep thanks to its endless energy core. Of course, a brain like that needed a body to match, so they gave it armor made from a regenerative biosynthetic shell crafted from a custom version of Kachin, the legendary metal known as the toughest substance in the universe. Except this time, it didn't just resist damage, it could heal from it. Even regular Kachin couldn't do that. But Bulma wasn't just chasing durability, she wanted a body that learned from each fight, adjusting and getting stronger every time it took a hit like a Saiyan in machine form. But science doesn't come with a no chaos guarantee. The first prototype, codenamed Gamma 3, was an absolute disaster. The moment he stepped out of the chamber, it looked like a sentient gym locker made of pure steel, all brawn. Zero finesse. The second it powered on, it stomped through the lab like a toddler made of titanium, wrecking everything in its path. Hedo barely managed to shut it down with a jury-rigged remote that looked like a garage door opener. Bulma, arms dusty and patience gone, muttered that at least they'd confirmed the multidimensional energy core worked maybe a little too well. In the end, the android was scrapped. The second attempt, codenamed Project Mannequin, was Hedo's moment to prioritize looks, and, as expected, he went way overboard. The android that stepped out of the chamber looked like it had just been stolen from an art museum. Perfect proportions, eyes that sparkled like shopping mall displays, and a posture that screamed intergalactic runway model. When activated, all it managed was a shy little hello before staring blankly ahead like a model waiting for the next camera flash. Every attempt at interaction triggered nothing more than dramatic poses and hollow smiles. It was like a strange hybrid between a virtual assistant and a social media influencer who lived for filters. Bulma stared at the scene for a few moments, then let out a long, tired sigh. She admitted the android was in fact beautiful, but pointed out that even Yamcha could win an argument with it. And coming from her, that was a massive red flag. Hedo scratched his head, muttering that maybe he had focused too much on the user interface. Bulma, with one eyebrow raised in classic sarcasm mode, quipped that sometimes it felt like he programmed these things with hormones instead of logic. It was only on the third attempt that things really began to click. After all the explosions, pointless poses, and mounting frustration, Bulma and Hedo finally struck the perfect balance between power, control, aesthetics, and functionality. And that's how she was born the first of her kind. A white-haired, athletic android with short hair and eyes so sharp they looked like they were scanning the entire room with every blink. The activation chamber opened in a soft, almost theatrical mist. Her first step was fluid and precise, like someone trained by a league of elite spies before even coming online. Hedo was practically in tears, overwhelmed by scientific pride. It worked, she was perfect. He shouted with the joy of a kid unboxing his favorite toy, proudly suggesting the name Gamma 5 like he was naming a shooting star. Bulma crossed her arms, thinking it over. Gamma 5, it sounded a lot like 5G modern. Clean and surprisingly strong. She decided she liked it. Turning slightly toward the android, and with all the authority of someone who basically runs the planet without needing a title, she made it official. Earth had a new guardian. The android responded with a subtle nod, acknowledging the command. Understood, Miss Bulma. I am ready to defend this planet, she said, as if the mission had been etched into the core of her existence. Excited with the success, Bulma grabbed her communicator and tried reaching out to Goku and Vegeta. She wanted to see how far this new creation could go in a friendly spar against the strongest warrior she knew. But for some reason, Whis wasn't answering her calls. Meanwhile, on Beerus' planet, Whis was munching on a slice of pizza while watching the Saiyans clash in the sky above. Vegeta was tapping into his Ultra Ego. Goku was moving with the precision of Ultra Instinct. Gohan had fully awakened his beast form. And Broly, now in control of his legendary power, was fighting with unmatched intensity. Whis' staff kept blinking non-stop, but the angel was way too entertained by the battle to notice anything else. After all, he was watching the strongest warriors of Universe 7 go all out. Beerus, arms crossed, couldn't help but wonder why they were training so hard lately. Maybe they were fighting over who gets to be the next god of destruction. But Whis shook his head and explained that probably wasn't the case. The Oracle Fish had recently said that the strongest warrior in the universe was about to be born, and clearly everyone here wanted to be the first to test him. Back on Earth, inside Capsule Corp, Bulma was boiling with frustration after being ignored by Whis yet again. Annoyed, she muttered that if Earth were in danger, they clearly wouldn't be showing up in time to help. Gamma 5, who had been silently watching everything, tilted her head slightly. With the calm confidence of someone who already had the solution, she politely asked if Bulma would like her to locate them manually. Before anyone could answer, Gamma 5's eyes lit up with intense light. In a flash, colorful holograms filled the room, projecting galaxies, constellations, and streams of cosmic energy into the air. Every bit of data was processed in nanoseconds, as if the entire universe was being scanned and mapped in real time. In just a few seconds, she had already locked onto Beerus' planet, and without hesitation, she initiated an unauthorized protocol, automatic dimensional teleportation. Hedo immediately panicked. His voice cracked as he tried to protest, realizing what was happening. This couldn't be real. She couldn't just teleport to a God of Destruction's world without permission, without a warning, without anything. Bulma stood frozen, stunned by what she was witnessing. That's when it hit her. Gamma 5 wasn't just working, she was making decisions. On her own, and far too quickly. A powerful white light consumed the lab. Arcs of energy surged through the room like compressed thunder, and the air thickened as if space itself was warping. And just like that, on Beerus' planet, a mysterious figure appeared right in front of the god of destruction and the Saiyans. Everyone froze, caught off guard. None of them had sensed her approaching, which made her even more unsettling. But then, the tension eased. Bulma stepped out from behind the android and casually greeted the group, leaving everyone in absolute shock. Now the question is, can Bulma's new android stand up to the strongest warriors in the universe? Find out in the next episode, the most powerful android in the universe versus every Saiyan.